would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie, Jason Blair, Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham. Glenn Lewis.
Here.
Here.
At this time, would you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Even though I can't see. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item number 2 is the consent docket. Item A is approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held March 7th, 2022. Item B is receive the minutes of the regular Parks Board meeting held February 1st, 2022. Item C is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2021 and 2022 in the amount of $2,167,466.21.
Motion to approve?
All right. thank you.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second on the consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 3 is consider rezoning application number RZ 1018 located in the northeast quarter of section 26, township 10 north, range 3 west, being south of Southwest 19th Street and west of South Broadway Avenue at 2101 South Broadway Avenue from I-2 Medium Industrial District to I-1 Light Industrial District, and approve ordinance number 3-22, application by Flash Group Services.
Mayor and Council, this site is located south of Southwest 19th Street and west of South Broadway Avenue at 2101 South Broadway Avenue. This is the previous location of Cameron Drilling. The applicant is seeking to rezone the property from I-2 Medium Industrial to I-1 Light Industrial District. While this current zoning does allow a medical marijuana grow and processing facility by right, the rezoning to I-1 is being requested to allow for a medical marijuana dispensary in addition to the other allowed uses. Public water and sewer utilities are available to serve the site, and access is provided by South Broadway Avenue with a secondary access to Industrial Boulevard. The site does not contain any FEMA-regulated floodplain or floodway, and any new construction that takes place in the future must comply with the city's stormwater management criteria. However, there are currently no plans for any expansion of the building. The Envision More 2040 plan calls for this location to be light industrial. Light industrial uses, land uses include existing heavy commercial, office, warehouse, and light industrial and existing medium industrial development. This application was reviewed as to its conformance with the comprehensive plan. The Envision More 2040 plan specifically states that rezoning requests to light industrial uses should be supported in areas designated for those uses, due to these uses being more compatible with the city's suburban character. Because this application seeks to downzone the property from medium industrial to light industrial, this request is in compliance with the Envision More 2040 plan. The subject site today, as it sits today, as I-2 medium industrial, does allow for medical marijuana growing and processing by right. So this rezoning application is not considering whether that use is allowable on the property. However, the only zoning district that allows a marijuana grow, processor, and dispensary in the same building is the I-1 Light Industrial District. The applicant desires to create a storefront dispensary while growing and processing the marijuana that would be sold on site. A rezoning action from I-2 to I-1 is required to allow the dispensary. And based on the compliance with the comprehensive plan, staff recommends approval of this application. you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer
So
them.
the intent is no major construction, they'll just plan to remodel the building?
Yeah, we currently have a building permit under review for a remodel. So at the moment, there's no plans for building expansion.
Okay.
Make a motion to approve.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, we have a second. Would you call for the vote?
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
No.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 4 is consider approval of a new job description for a fitness facility assistant in the Parks and Recreation Department and assign it to pay grade 105 of the salary table approved by the City Council on June 20th, 2016.
Mayor and Council, the Parks and Recreation Department is requesting your approval of a new job description for a fitness facility assistant. This is a full-time position, and one of its responsibilities will be for opening the Station Rec Center Monday through Fridays in the mornings, along with other duties as assigned. The position was included in the FY22, said that right, budget, and staff recommends approval and placement in pay grade 105.
Okay, so are we hiring somebody right now, or is it gonna be in the future?
As soon as possible, we will hire someone.
All right.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 5 is consider authorizing the budgeted purchase of a 2022 John Deere 5075, Power Reverser utility tractor for the street department from Deere and Company in the amount of $64,537.98 using the state contract number SW0196D.
Mayor and Council, this will be a budgeted purchase of a John Deere tractor to replace a 1985 tractor that we have in house.
It's as old as me. Make a motion to approve.
Second the motion.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 6 is consider awarding bid number 2022-010, Public Works mowing of public right-of-ways to Tuss Nua Lawn and Landscape in the amount of $93,720 as the lowest and most responsible bidder.
Mayor and Council, we advertised an open bids on March 8th and to get assistance from mowing right-of-ways, then porter entries and the high-vis areas. The lowest and the most responsible bidder was Tosnoa in an amount of $93,720, and we recommend awarding the contract to them.
And are these people that will use to mow the creeks?
No, sir. No, sir. They've helped us with right-of-way mowing and with parks as well.
So they have helped us in the past?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And so this is just the general mowing that we do every year?
Yes.
Okay.
Is this, are we adding more mowing to what the contractors are doing, or is it the same? Do you know? If you don't, that's all right.
It's the same.
Okay.
It takes us longer to get to places, especially the high-vis areas and the arterials.
Okay.
So this will make sure that we stay on top of it.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Great. Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All right, thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 7 is consider acceptance and consent to the agreement between Moore Urban Renewal Authority and Alamo Investments LLC, Lloyd Investments LLC, and Monet Investments LLC related to the acquisition assembly of approximately 269 complete or fractional parcels in Cleveland Heights pursuant to the City of Moore Cleveland Heights Urban Renewal Plan.
Mayor and council, at the special urban renewal meeting, authority meeting last Thursday, the commissioners approved a purchase agreement with the 3 LLCs named in the agenda item. This item is just for council acknowledgement of the action of the commissioners. Recommend approval.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to approve?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 8 is consider adoption of resolution number 18-22 of the City Council of the City of Moore, Oklahoma, approving the incurrence of indebtedness by the City Economic Development Authority, the authority, in the aggregate principal amount not to exceed $1,500,000 in connection with the issuance of its sales tax revenue note, taxable series 2022. Municipal Capital Improvements Project, the note, providing that the trust indenture as amended, creating the authority is subject to the provisions of general indenture as supplemented and amended, authorizing the issuance of said note, waiving competitive bidding, and approving the proceedings of the authority pertaining to the sale of said note, approving a security agreement between the city and authority pertaining to the deposit and transfer of sales tax revenue, ratifying and confirming an agreement of support between the Moore Public Works Authority and the authority whereby the Moore Public Works Authority agrees to transfer revenues to the authority and containing other provisions relating thereto.
Mayor and council, I was advised by bond counsel right before the meeting that we need to have a 3/4 vote on this, and we are one council member light this evening. So, Mayor, I'm sorry you had to read the lengthy item, but requesting that this item be tabled until our April 4th meeting.
Motion to table.
Second.
All right, thank you both. We have a motion and a second on the tabling. Would you call for the vote to table?
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. Item is tabled.
And just so the council knows, we'll have a couple of companion items later in the agenda that will also need to be tabled.
Okay. Item 9 is receive a presentation from the Moore School Services Coalition regarding public transportation. Excuse me, that's Moore Social Services, not school. It's,
Mayor and council, city staff has received several inquiries regarding public transportation. The Moore Social Services Coalition has identified a need for public transportation services and has requested the city to consider completing a transportation feasibility study. CDBG planning funds can be used for transportation plans, however, the amount of those funds is very limited. Reagan Mock is the Client Resources Coordinator for the Food and Resource Center, and she is here to present the need for public transportation on behalf of the Social Services Coalition. Reagan?
Thank you, Callie. Mayor, council, as Callie mentioned, I will be presenting today about installing a fixed transit route in the city of Moore. I will begin with, I hope this clicker works. Awesome. An overview of what I will be discussing are the current transit options in the city of Moore, a problem statement, the proposed solution to the statement, a timeline, testimonies of current residents, the benefits of implementing a fixed transit route, cost and funding, and the community support we have developed. So currently there are 4 transit options in terms of public transportation. There's a partnership between Area-Wide Aging Agency and Embark, the Brand Senior Center, Sooner Ride, and Sheriff Fair. As you can see, the top 2 are for seniors only, either 55 or 60 years older, and must schedule a ride before the day of transportation. Sooner Ride is for Sooner Care recipients only, and they must schedule the ride at least 3 days prior to their appointment, and it must be authorized by insurance as a medically necessary transportation. Lastly, there is Sheriff Fair, which is a program through Embark. There is an application required for approval, and it provides a $4 subsidy on 52 rides. There is not fully accessible public transportation in the city of Moore. This is an issue, as I'm sure every councilman or woman knows. So our proposed solution is installing a fixed transit route. The map you see there is by the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments, ACOG. The dark blue lines show the current transit routes by Embark, and the dashed blue lines show the proposed routes. We propose that the Route 40 on South Walker be extended to a loop around the city of Moore to provide connectivity between Oklahoma City and the city of Moore. This would not only allow residents of Moore to move within the city, but also move within the region itself. Goals. I broke these goals into short-term, midterm, and long-term. So within the next year to 2 years, we would need to form an advisory committee, conduct a feasibility study, focus groups and surveys, and estimate the cost from Embark. Embark would provide that estimate. Midterm would be having a route drafted, determining external funding outlets and applying for them, and then determining internal funding and allocating a budget for construction. Lastly, within 3 to 5 years, we hope that there will be ground broken on the stops, buses will be secured, and finally a map will be finalized with the connecting routes. So I come to you today because of how deeply I care about the residents of this city. As you can see here, I work for the Regional Food Bank, and I work every day with residents of Moore who are in great need. While there is a host of testimonies here in the proposal I provided to you, I would like to highlight one that I found most pressing. It is on page 5, under residents' testimonies, inaccessibility of medical facilities. Separating a mom from her child should be a measure of last resort in Moore, but unfortunately, due to the lack of accessibility, that's exactly what happened to a young mom. She was in a car accident, and her car was totaled. She was unable to transport herself back and forth. But at the same time, her baby, a premature child, was in the NICU. The doctor had recommended breastfeeding as well as contact between the child and the parent in order for the baby to progress. Yet when she contacted and applied for a ride through SoonerRide, they told her it was not medically necessary. So now this mom was sitting here with her baby in the NICU who she could not reach because they told her it was not medically necessary for her to see her child. I don't know about you, but that's pretty heartbreaking to me. And if you continue to read through this section, from food insecurity to limited access to residents having to considering moving out of the city of Moore. People and residents with children with disabilities are having a hard time finding employment in the city for their children that is near their homes. How is their child supposed to get to work when they are the person who is having to commute that child to work? So whether it's a young mother who has nowhere to turn in an emergency or a family having to considering move out of the city of Moore, there are numerous residents experiencing hardship due to this lack of transportation. Next are the benefits. These benefits here are just scraping the surface. Beginning with the commitment to the Oklahoma Public Policy Plan, the number one goal for this plan set forth in 2020 was a commitment to public transportation and to increase access across our state. The second is removing barriers to education, allowing residents to get to places like Moore Norman Technology Center. Next is increased access to jobs, allowing residents to get back and forth throughout the city instead of just wherever they can walk down the street to. Next is commitment to regional connectivity, as I mentioned previously. Increased access to local businesses and even the opportunity to advertise by businesses. Return on investment, I will mention this later here in a moment with the cost and funding section, and also increased safety for residents. Residents will no longer have to be walking up and down I-35 or 19th Street trying to get to where they need to go. They will have the opportunity to get on a bus and get there. Lastly, and most importantly, the strongest benefit of implementing a fixed transit route is providing public transportation would confirm that the city of Moore prioritizes the interests of its residents. Now, the question we all ask is, how much is this going to cost? I understand this is a hefty ask. It's not something I take lightly, but I know is immensely needed. The Oklahoma City Moves bus study was just done by Embark. And I don't know if you guys can see there on line 18, they did assess what the cost of an extension of Route 40 into Moore would look like. The estimated capital investment, which is the last column, is $1.6 million for vehicles and $300,000 for stops. Estimated operating cost would be 1.4 million, as well as additional cost in 11,000. I did assess and do research on external funding besides budget allocations through the council, and that there were many grants through the Association of Central Oklahoma Governments, the Oklahoma Department of Transportation, as well as the bipartisan infrastructure bill passed this past November. A few were the American Rescue Plan Act and air quality small grants. These are just a few that I found in my time when I was doing this research. I know that if we put together a council that is dedicated to this, there is funding out there that can also be allocated towards such a cause as this. Now, lastly, return on investment. This was a study done by the Oklahoma State Spears School of Business that saw that for every dollar invested in public transportation, $1.70 was returned into their pocket. So that's a 70% profit margin. While I understand that the capital investment at the beginning of a project like this is really hefty, ultimately this will become a system that can also benefit the city financially. Now, you see this large page here with many words, and these are all the people who support this. I worked very hard and went into this community and asked every person I could think of what their thoughts were on this, trying to get feedback and suggestions, and there were so many people who agreed and said, yes, this is something our city needs. It's been long enough that we have not been able to provide this to our residents, and we need to do this. So from former city manager Stephen Eady to John Sharp at ACOG, to Callie Gilbert, who introduced me here today, to many different community members at transportation associations, they were incredibly helpful to me. There are so many people who are supportive of this. And if you look in the back of the proposals I provided you, you will find 18 letters of support from these members. So what's next? We asked the council to please approve a budget for a feasibility study for this coming fiscal year so that we can evaluate the costs, where routes need to be at, where stops need to be at, as well as establishing an advisory committee. This committee would be of specialists in the community, people from ACOG, Oklahoma Transportation Association, ODOT, even myself, who could come together and help advise on this decision. That is it. I would like to open it up for questions.
You know, we had a stop. We actually had two stops. One of them was at Walmart at 19th and Broadway. I don't remember where the other one was, but nobody rode the bus.
Nobody rode them.
So we decided not to invest any more money in it. I mean, you're talking $4 million upfront cost. You can pay for a lot of Uber rides with that.
And that's fair. I would like to also highlight that in this section I talk about residents' testimonies, there are quite a few residents who could not even afford an Uber ride because the majority of their income then went to Uber. Right. About 1/3 to 1/2 of their income was then spent on rides to and from work, and they could not justify going to work any longer. I think something that would be important in implementing this system is going to be in marketing aspect, making sure people in the community are aware of this, leveraging resources like ourselves here at this More Social Services Coalition, letting people know, hey, this is an option for you, and we have built this system to support you as residents.
Do you know how many people would ride it approximately?
I do not. I will tell you that the feasibility study is to address that question.
And how much are you asking for the feasibility study?
I do not know the budget allocation request. Callie, do you know?
I've reached out to like Edmond, Norman to kind of get an idea, and it was all over the place. Okay. So Norman's plan, they completely redid their transportation. So their plan was closer to 150,000. Okay. Where Edmond's, you know, they run their own transportation system, and I believe it was around 60. So I would assume that just a feasibility study to get us started to see, you know, what the actual need is for the entire city would be around 50 to 60.
Okay.
Reagan, great presentation. I can tell you put a lot of effort into that. Thank you for doing that for the city.
Absolutely.
And just out of complete ignorance of the topic on this specific topic, I'm kind of with the mayor. I'd like to know how much of it would be utilized by our citizens if we're going to dedicate those funds to it. But Absolutely. It sounds like there's a need for some citizens, and I empathize with what you've told me, and I hope that there can be some solution. It'd be real interesting to know how heavy it would be used, but it sounds like it'd be something worth checking out. I do wonder, after that study, what the feedback will be on the usage of it for that amount.
Absolutely. And as I mentioned, I completely understand the capital investment is heavy, so we want to make sure that we are smart with approaching that investment and do the feasibility study to address it.
We've already done a little bit of legwork on this, tied in with the light rail discussion that's been going on for years. And so, at least I've looked into the cost and everything of it. I totally agree that it's needed.
Yes,
I
sir.
have no qualms with that at all. It's a matter of where does it fit in the prioritization, and can we make that level of a financial commitment to it, so.
Absolutely.
But it
But-
would make the conversation of the light rail discussion a little bit easier in the long run.
And I personally would be supportive of a feasibility study to see where we would be, to see if it's even feasible, if
Right.
it makes sense or anything. I think that is the first step.
I would,
I agree.
And I would just add to the conversation, again, I would be all for a feasibility study. Since I've been on the council, this is one of the things that I'll get emails on a few times a year about having mass transit. RTA, if it's gonna be successful, once you get to where you're going, you still have to have a way to get to your primary job.
Absolutely.
And our cities are so spread out, people would prefer to drive their cars. So if you're gonna do RTA, the first thing that makes more sense for me is to have a good transit system in place, and all of the cities, Moore doesn't have that. And the other thing that I think is important for the council to consider, you know, the RTA, they're gonna be coming back and asking for some additional money. I know the city, Midwest City, has withdrawn from cooperating with the RTA, and they're no longer a part of it. So that burden is gonna be shifted to 5 cities instead of 6 cities. So I would ask that we give serious thought and consideration before we continue to invest, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars into building something that has no infrastructure. So in RTA, that's gonna be billions of dollars. They still don't know how it's gonna be funded. The mass transit, we have the majority of the infrastructure here, the roads. But yes, buses, building some bus stops will require some additional funds, but that could happen in 3-4 years. But the RTA, that's years away. And I would just ask that when those things come back before us, where we're gonna spend that money, on RTA, or, and maybe RTA is something that will happen in our community, but I just don't know if it's the right time. Now, I had the opportunity to visit with our congressional delegation with ACOG. We went to DC, and 2 of the, a congressman and a state senator expressed some of their same concerns, in that our cities, our communities are so spread out. And, you know, made the comment, a lot of homes around here have 3-car garages. So we really depend on our own transportation versus public. And when we were there, you know, they have in DC, they have the Metro. And to go from our hotel over to the Capitol on the Metro was about 42 minutes. Or we could Uber, and it was 8 minutes. So there's trade-offs in all of that stuff. And I would be very interested in the feasibility study. I know that the Oklahoma City Chamber of Commerce did an interest survey, but it's theirs, so they haven't shared that with the others. And if we could ever get a hold of that to see what the interest was for the city of Moore, as far as an RTA, would the people here be willing to support that? Would they use it? I don't know. I think there's a lot of questions, and that this is, I'm glad that this is on the agenda and that it's come up tonight. So a feasibility study would be a great
Great
place to
start.
start.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council.
Thank you, Reagan.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 10 is consider approval of an agreement with Food and Shelter Incorporated to provide deposit assistance and/or temporary shelter for homeless residents and more using a community development block grant COVID-19 funds.
Mayor and council, in January of 2021, council approved an agreement with Food and Shelter for the administration of a rapid rehousing program. This program does provide emergency housing and/or assistance with required deposits for rent and utilities. So far, this program has assisted 27 homeless individuals. The new agreement's budget is $13,953, which includes $8,953 left over from the previous agreement that they haven't yet spent. Bringing the total of $25,000 of COVID-19 funding for last year's agreement and this agreement. This agreement is estimated to assist 7 households, and most of the referrals will continue to come from the Moore Public Schools Homeless Liaison. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Make a motion that we approve it.
Second.
All right, thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Thank you.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 11 is consider authorizing legal counsel and staff to begin necessary legal proceedings regarding billboard sign located at Southwest 34th and East I-35 Service Road.
Mayor and Council, this is concerning a billboard that's currently located where the new animal shelter is going to be located. I've been in contact with Lamar Advertising probably over for the last year and a half about the removal and/or the relocation of this billboard sign. And I believe at this time we have exhausted all possible relocation sites. So what we're here today is we're asking council to authorize legal counsel to go ahead and begin the proceedings to have the sign actually removed.
So they're willing to move it, we just can't find a place that
That
they're
i-
agreeable to?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct. We had at least three or four options that we have gone back and forth on, and either one was not acceptable by them, or they would come back with a location for us that just wasn't workable either. So at this time, I think we've run out of possible locations.
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, thank you both. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion on this item? If not, would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 12 is the consent docket. Item A is receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held March 7th, 2022. Item B is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2021-2022 in the amount of $1,447,226.62.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you both. We have a motion and a second. It is a consent docket. Would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item carries. Item number 13 is consider adoption of resolution number 25722 of the trustees of the Moore Public Works Authority, the authority authorizing an agreement of support by and between the authority and the Moore Economic Development Authority pertaining to the Moore Economic Development Authority sales tax revenue note, taxable series number 2022.
Motion to table?
Okay, thank you.
Second.
Thank you both. We have a motion to table and a second. Would you call for the vote?
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, item is tabled. At this time, we'll recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item number 14 is a consent docket. Item A is accept the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held March 7th, 2022. Item B is approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2021-2022 in the amount of $211,858.76.
Motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second on a consent docket. Would you please call for the vote?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, thank you. Item carries. At this time, we will recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Would you call the roll, please?
Danielle McKenzie, Jason Blair, Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here. Item 16 is our consent docket. Receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Economic Development Authority meeting held February 22nd, 2022.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Had a motion and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis. Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes. So I need to read all this?
Yeah.
All right. Consider adoption of resolution number 2422 of the trustees of the Moore Economic Development Authority, the authority authorizing the issuance of its sales tax revenue note, taxable series 2022 municipal capital improvements project, the note in an aggregate principal in the amount of not to exceed 1.5 million for the purpose of financing certain real property for economic development purposes and paying certain costs of issuance in connection with referenced financing. The project in the city of Moore, waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the note to be sold on a negotiated basis, ratifying, approving, and authorizing the execution of other documents relating to the transaction, and authorizing employment of the financial advisor and bond counsel set pertaining to said financing and containing other provisions relating thereto.
Motion to table?
Second.
All right, we had a motion to table and a second. Would you call the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt.
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes, items tabled. At this time, we're going to recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the city council meeting.
Okay, let the record reflect that all the members that were present before are still present. And item 18 is new business. Item A is citizens forum for items not on the agenda. There's no one signed up. Would anyone like to speak? Yes.
Yes, it is.
I just have a question.
If you would come to the front.
Does the city have a charter with the Federal Geographic Data Committee?
I believe so. Would you please state your name and address for the record?
I'm Noel Byron Church at 121 South Ramon Oaks Drive. Thanks.
And your question was what about the charter?
Has the city chartered with the Federal Geographic Data Committee?
I have no idea what that is. We have a charter.
We have a city charter.
We have a city charter. I don't know that we're chartered with that group.
Yeah.
Okay,
You can pick up a copy of the city charter from my office.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Item B is items from the city council or trustees.
I just have just a couple quick things. I've noticed along Eastern, somebody's doing a lot of underground work. Not sure who it is. I'm sure it's just a subcontractor. And they're leaving a lot of ruts and breaking curbs. So I just hope that we will go back after they've completed their work and double check or reinsure that they've left it the way that it was found. I know it's around the community, or what's the community church? I can't think of the name of that.
Yep.
Name of that church right there. But there, and I'm sure other parts of the city as well. And then one other question along that same corridor closer to 12th Street. I noticed that there is another curb cut to some of the homes that back up to 12th Street.
Yes.
And I can appreciate the convenience for those residents, but I think we just need to be careful about issuing permits. It just really disrupts the flow of traffic if somebody is going to start using that on a consistent basis. If they've done it just for a boat or an RV, I get it, but we should just be careful about that.
I wondered if that was a previous curb cut there. It wasn't? I know which one you're
Were
talking
they
about.
building that?
The large,
Yeah, that new home, that was a brand new one.
right. It looked like kind of maybe that curb cut was old. I didn't know, so, okay.
There was
'Cause
an
I-
older one there. And then
Okay,
now
because
there's
I saw
two.
the same thing.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
I have a quick question. The Riverwalk, the river that runs down there between all that, I don't know whose responsibility that is filled with trash. I drove past today and I don't know
Yeah.
if that's the city's responsibility or if it's the businesses around there or whatever, but it looks terrible.
I brought it up, but
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
not put something in the underpass to catch some of that? I feel like we have that in other areas. You know, like bull wire or something that catches that debris and let the water pass through or
It just clogs it up.
Yeah.
clogs it up
It
worse.
does,
Yeah.
With especially the kind of debris that's in,
Yeah.
up in this one.
Plastic bags in there.
Yeah, and cups and,
Oops,
yeah.
It looks like somebody threw their trash out,
Yeah.
isn't it? Okay.
We'll look into it.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, item C is items from the city manager or trust manager.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Item 19 is executive session. Section 307, Title 25 Oklahoma statutes permits the public body to meet in executive session for certain specified reasons under certain specified conditions. It is the opinion of the city attorney that the city council may consider and adopt a motion to meet in executive session to discuss the following item. Item A is discuss, consider, and if deemed appropriate, consider taking possible action regarding pending claim by Jim Buxton of the Buxton Law Group filed on behalf of Barbara Calhoun and Bill Briner against the city of Moore, and authorization for legal counsel and staff to take actions as necessary and appropriate in the interest of the city as authorized by 25 Oklahoma statutes 307B-4.
Make a motion that we convene the executive session?
All right,
Second.
thank you. Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, we're convened to executive session. Thank you for coming. I never noticed it before, so. Well, that was a quick meeting
It was.
for executive session. Would you call the roll back, please?
Danielle McKenzie, Jason Blair, Melissa Hunt,
Here.
Louis Williams.
Here.
Adam Webb.
Here.
Mark Ham.
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Here, we are reconvened from executive session. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion to deny the claim.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Louis Williams,
Yes.
Adam Webb,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes. The item is passed.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right, thank you.
Second.
I was looking for the number. It's like, what number is it? Thank you. Item 20. Would you call for the vote, please?
Louis Williams.
Yes.
Adam Webb.
Yes.
Mark Ham.
Yes.
Melissa Hunt,
Yes.
Glenn Lewis.
Yes, we're adjourned.
Who did
Thanks for
that
coming.
last one?
Thank you all.
I got this signed.
Okay.
This is signed.